My parents are from Brooklyn. My dad's from Bensonhurst and my mom's from East Flatbush.
My father is Italian and my mother's Norwegian.
My parents moved to America when my mother was 20, my father was 21. I was 7 months old. We moved to Brooklyn, where my father went to go moving furniture for $3 an hour, while my mom went to college to learn English.
If you've lived here for more than 5 years, you've been in here at least once, and you know who we are, and that's another reason why I think I work here. It's definitely part of the Staten Island experience.
My dad, he's part of the family business that it's my grandpa, my dad, and my two uncles who own a building company on Staten Island. And, you know, people always assumed when I was younger, oh, he's going to join the building company, he's going to do all that. But, you know, when they realized he's not really into that, it's not like they were like, oh, you have to still keep going with that. They just let me keep going with what I enjoy.
They have a lot of that family-oriented, like, real Italian, like, mind frame, but with, like, the whole 50s Brooklyn conservative thing going with them, too.
Some people haven't even like stepped foot here, and they've lived in New York City their whole lives. It's just like it's like a very separate kind of entity, I think, in some weird way. It's like a wall, like dividing Staten Island from everything else. When I was a kid, I used to hang out with 40 different kids. We have a game of baseball here, there, everywhere, football, and all these different people. So just go outside. I don't know how it is anymore. A lot of kids stay inside now. They're playing on their Xboxes, and I mean, who plays? Little kids playing Xbox all the time.
Like when we were growing up, you know, we did anything to get out of the house. Like, even if it grows, like your parents just won't do your homework and then you could go outside. Do your homework as fast as you could.
We were always out playing baseball, stickball, you know, all the kind of balls.
When I was younger, obviously the Staten Island Mall was a great source of fun. Showplace, when the Showplace Center was like huge, it was great. There was video games and pizza and a pool hall, and that was definitely right in Travis, because I grew up kind of near Travis. There was the Showplace Center and, like I said, the bowling alley as well as over there, a movie theater. That was just kind of like where everyone went, you know, if you're like 16, 17, you want to do something like that. You want to eat pizza and play pool and play video games. So that was definitely somewhere where we hung out a lot. And then after hours, we'd go to the park.
More in junior high, I went to the public school right up the block, IS-34. So a lot of times, me and my friends just used to hang out at the places around there. Eggers Ice Cream. You know, we'd sometimes just walk over to one of the delis. Really, just all the things you see where you see junior high kids hanging around on the streets in Tottenville. That was me and my friends usually.
The kiddie clubs. I'll go to the kiddie clubs down on Bay Street, and I don't know, I was hanging out with my friends, making movies too. We're doing stupid stuff like that. You know, we weren't doing like we weren't robbing people or anything like that.
They get in their clique and they'll sit on a corner or sit on their stoop and hang out in their town, and then they'll be called the neighborhood kids, and they'll all be there. Someone walks in their neighborhood and looks at them the wrong way, does something stupid, like says something to a girl that they know. Oh, we gotta beat him up now. You know, we gotta show him this is where we're from and tell him to get out of our neighborhood.
One of the lines in the fight was, "Bro, you don't even know this is like my neighborhood. I'll rip you apart." I couldn't believe like my ears. Like it's the funniest thing you'll ever hear. It's more humorous than it is pathetic now.
I moved here when I was in 6th grade. So I moved here in January, in spring, like winter break, going of 6th grade, so the second half. And people like just called, you know, you fucking Jew bag. They called me, I don't know, they just abused the living shit out of me, you know, just because like, I mean, just because you're different, you know? And I never really considered myself that much different, you know, because I was into all the same stuff they were. But, you know, but like they knew, but, you know, they overheard my parents speaking Russian, so that's the extent of it.
These kids run around, they don't even care that they can get in trouble because their parents are most probably wealthy, and they think that's going to help them get away from anything. Kids with no drive because they think that everything's just going to be handed to them, and that's how some kids are. Some kids my age are still like that.
Back then, you know, everything was lollipops and gumdrops and such. All you thought about was having fun and whatnot. But then reality hits right around 17 or so, and you got to think about what to do.
My father wanted, like, I bought my car off of him because it was just, you got to earn what you do. You can't just have everything given to you. And I realized at first it was like, oh, you know, it sucks, what kind of parent are you? But then you look at it and it's like, okay, you know, there is a point to it. They don't want you to be selfish and greedy and stuff like that, you know, which is the best thing in the world, I guess, now, not to be.
We didn't care. We just did just enough work to get by, and that was all right because we didn't care about our future. Some still don't.
The pressure's on me because my parents like to reinforce the sentiment that they came here for me every chance they get. Every chance they get, they say that we came here for you. There was no future for you in Ukraine, in the Soviet Union. You know, you wouldn't be able to raise there. So every chance they get, they tell me, you know, we came here for you. From first grade, I was told that I had to do good in school so I can go to good college, so I can be a doctor.
People assume I'm the kid that does really good in high school. I'm not. I spent most of my time in high school doing the technical stuff, meaning I was at the TV station till like 5, 6 o'clock at night sometimes when school ended at 2:30. Then I would go home and you think, okay, so now he'll do his homework. No, I would go home and I'd start working on videos just for fun, just something me and my friend put together or something like that. I spent most of my time doing that type of stuff, so I did almost that same type of thing. I barely got through in high school.
Oh, well, I had like I said, my parents are split, so I had the Republican mother who, upon seeing the Iron Maiden posters on my wall and then taking the tape and reading the lyrics and seeing the word Lucifer in these lyrics, all those posters came down. And I said, what the fuck is going on here? And devil, it's Satan!
Alright, well, conservative is somebody who doesn't do things out of the box. Basically, conservatives, a lot of them don't drink, a lot of them don't, you know, do drugs, a lot of them, a lot of conservatives don't do stuff like that. Conservatives are mostly Republicans too, right?
The conservatism kind of speaks about the comfort and the fact that people aren't really willing to change. They don't see a problem in diminishing American liberties. They don't really see a problem with that because fuck the terrorists, you know. Well, you're next.
Like, no one's open for change. Everyone follows routine now. Now everyone is this way, and they follow that same routine every week, every day. You know, we go here, we do this. You know, it's a week. I gotta go get a haircut. You know, it's been 3 days. I gotta go tan.
I find that a lot of it stems from their parents. You know, their parents, take them shopping to go to Costco, and like their parents just like curse, and like every person that they see, they find something about that person and criticize it to the point of no return. Where if a person's black, then the reason their day sucks is because they've been stuck behind this nigger the whole day. Or if a person doesn't speak their language, these fucking foreigners are ruining Costco. These fucking foreigners are, loading up everything. So they find something and they grasp onto it, and then these children learn from that and they carry it with them up until something changes, And unfortunately, a lot of times something doesn't change, and they take it to their graves and to their children and so on and so forth.
So many kids from the South Shore are so racist that they just, black president comes in and we got chaos now, when the guy is probably whiter than you are in personality. So I mean, that's just stupidity. That's not even being conservative, because you could talk to a lot of conservative people and they'll make valid reasons, maybe a little out of date, but it'll be valid reasons. But the younger people are just, it's all about race and stuff like that. They just don't care.
All moral eyes are going to be on him because he is African American. He's also half Caucasian too, so people forget.
One kid flat out said that now that Obama's president, I'll give it a year before he legalizes marijuana. And no self-respected person in their right mind, white, black, or whatever, would jump into office and legalize marijuana. And then the fact that being a black president would only make things look worse for that community.
A lot of my friends that don't even know what the hell they're talking about, just to be on that bandwagon and everything like that. I don't know really too many people that are in politics.
Not that many people here understand politics that well, but they feel extremely strongly about them. And Obama's never gonna win. He's a nigga. He's gonna get shot. He's gonna get killed. Really? That's why you're not gonna vote for him? That's why you're not gonna vote for him. There's a lot of better reasons not to vote for Obama than the fact that he's black.
Change. Nobody likes it. Everybody hates change.
They don't want to associate liberal political views to be kinder to the middle class. They associate liberal political views to be kinder to minorities. And in their heads, minorities means that, Staten Island's not going to be Staten Island anymore. Staten Island's going to be Brooklyn.
I don't see things changing much because these families are entrenched there, and things aren't gonna change unless new people come in and those people leave, and the people that come in have different values and different beliefs. That's the only way, really, it would change, I would think.
The more money a neighborhood has, and the better the schools are, it seems that the more closed the minds are of the children, and even the parents. I'm a camp counselor. I deal with a lot of little kids, and I just hear some of the things that come from their mouths. I mean, all little kids are rotten, all little kids are sneaky or try to get into trouble, but a lot of them just straight up mean.
We get comfortable. We get too comfortable. Mommy and Daddy keep doing this and doing this and doing this and doing this, and now Mommy and Daddy are not doing that no more. And it's like, then we're like, oh, why can't you give me this and everything like that? I need to go out and get this. I need to go out and get that. I need to go out with my friends. And I do the same thing. If I get a little short on money, I'll ask my mom and dad for money, and I hate that feeling. So I make my own money, but it's like we don't grasp change as easy as someone more mature than us can.
My work ethic is nowhere near as hard as my parents' is. My parents' work ethic had to do with the fact that they needed to feed, they needed a place to live. I don't have that. I mean, I have a safety blanket. My parents, mom and dad will pay for stuff. They didn't always, not they didn't always. They don't now because they tell me I want something, I get a job. I bought a car. I paid my own car insurance. I paid my phone bill because it sucks, but at the end of the day, things are mine. And I know that I don't mooch off my parents, and I understand the value of the dollar and how hard it is to come by sometimes.
lot of people are not as comfortable as they once were, and it's everything is dropping, property rates, values, interest rates. So now is a good time to take advantage if you can, but a lot of people can't. So it's kind of like dangling cheese in front of a giant fat man.
It's rough. It's just, I can't say another word, but like it's rough, it's hard, it's just, you see it every day, everybody, everywhere, you know?
I know a few people currently looking for jobs for quite some time.
You know, I have to pull a friend's arm to get $1 out of him sometimes, you know? Like a close friend, you know, it hurts, you know? You can't give me $1. I need $1 for a soda. I left my wallet at home, you know? Can I have $1? Nah, I don't have $1. How do you not have $1? I just saw a stack of 20s.
It's like, here you go, but and then take it away.
The American dream, like liberty, or whatever that is.
The immigrants came over because they wanted to find a good job. That was their idea of the American dream. The idea of the American dream, if you read history books, is always coming over to find the really good job, to make the money, when in reality they came over and they got the worst jobs.
Get rich or die trying.
I don't want to be rich anymore. I wanted to be for a while. Like, I wanted to have as much. I just want to have enough money to live and have a good time in my life.
You don't have to be a millionaire to have the American, which would be nice. I'm gonna tell you something. Money can solve a lot of problems. It can.
Money is the root of all evil. It always will be.
Money, everyone's too controlled by money. Who has more, who has less, you know. It sucks when you don't have it.
It's tougher right now, and hopefully it'll get better soon. Who knows with the presidential change? But I don't know. It's a little disconcerting, you know. I make an all right living, but I like everyone I know right now, we're all very broke.
Unless you're born into something where it's predetermined that you're gonna inherit this company or you're gonna be a lawyer like you know your father and your grandfather.
Like, that's the most important goal in life, is to have as much money as you can. Why? Just a substitute for happiness. That's all it is.
If you're not used to having money, so you just don't know what it's like to have millions of dollars. Just as long as you know you have the air in your lungs and you're able to you know and you're happy in that sense, then I believe that's the American dream, just to be happy.
I would say the American dream would be to find a job that you're happy at and you enjoy doing, and you don't have to get up every day and be like, oh, I go to work.
I mean, my parents always wanted to live the American dream, you know, to get a house. They wanted a house. They thought that a house signified more than just, you know, more room to hold your shit and to hold your things in. A house signified, you know, like you making it.
Is happiness more important than money? Is that what you're asking? I would say, yeah. Personally, I'd rather be happy at a job than making millions of dollars.
These people have struggled. Not to say that everyone, you know, other people haven't struggled, but I find that people who have come here on their own, and especially came here to nothing, kind of like my family did, like they have taken this country for what it is, and with that, like have seen that the streets aren't exactly paved with gold, but have made something from it. I mean, my parents moved to this house from nothing, which we take great pride in. There are people who have been born in this country who haven't gotten this far, who were born here knowing the language, who are born here going to college and haven't gone that far, and it's not always their fault.
I think coming into Staten Island if you're an immigrant is a bad idea. It's just the environment. It's really not that good.
The core of this place is, when they opened the bridge, everyone flocked over here from Brooklyn. You had a lot of old families, a lot of old-time families there, and they set up camp here. And like I said earlier, it kind of falls from generations, I guess, to generation. But then again, I'm not really too involved with, I don't really know many, people.
Most of the people who were there when I was younger still live there. I don't talk to them as often, but it's more of like you see them on the block as you're driving by. They always wave, you wave back. It's actually really funny because recently when I had a little car accident, I saw more people on my block that day than I did in like a whole year. Because everyone hears that there's an accident right on the block and everyone comes out. You have like the whole crowd of all your neighbors out there, and I saw more people that day than I did in like a year.
So when I get into something, I really get into it, as opposed to in Staten Island where things aren't that deep. Things seem shallower on Staten Island, but I think that borrows rather from just a sense of contentness. I mean, why not be content? It's beautiful here. There's no noise. It's nice here, but I get bored.
Drugs. I mean, having sex at a young age is big. I mean, I lost my virginity when I was 14. Some of these kids are losing it in the 7th grade now. I mean, and this is Staten Island. It's all like that. Most kids are trying drugs at an early age. The biggest one probably being pot, then probably Xanax, and then they'll go on to crazier stuff: Percocet, Oxycontin, cough syrup, ecstasy, cocaine.
People obviously like the same things, and like I was saying earlier, it's all art. So if maybe you're a musician, maybe you're a painter, maybe you're a photographer, if you have some type of a creative nature, you can find something in a comic book store that appeals to you. There's got to be something, and that's cool. Yeah, it's kind of a gathering of people of like minds, and you get to have conversations and arguments and all that kind of stuff. So it's always a fun time.
My mom was always, like, one of her first jobs was, she was a computer programmer for, like, AT&T. She worked for a while, but she, like, stopped doing that after a while, and, once she started having kids, she really didn't work anymore. But I was just always into computers. She didn't really introduce me to it. We always had a computer in my house. We always had, I'm pretty sure from what I can remember, we always had a television, so I was always into that type of stuff.
But I've long given up on the Staten Island scene because hardcore is something I've always associated very closely with, and just the absence of it here. There's an absence of the working class mentality. There's an absence of it's all the songs here about girls and love, and I don't know, or about struggles that none of these kids have gone through.
Dump, stanky ass Staten Island dump, but I don't really know what to say about it. Really, it was terrible when it was here. It was the worst smell in the world.
The dump. They ask me if I'm like growing another head somewhere on my body or something like that.
It's kind of unfortunate that we were the borough that was the forgotten borough that they figured out. We'll just throw garbage there.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say in the dump. It's a dump.
I appreciate it closing.
And the dump's closed now, right? It's been closed for a while, and I think it's good. What else are you going to do with it? Shoot it to space? I don't know. You can see it from space. I do like that.
It's left a wonderful odor, I could say that, but I hear good things that's becoming like a national wildlife preserve too.
They're turning it into a park? Question mark? I don't know. I mean, that's what I heard. I see the signs that say future site of park.
It's one of the few things you can see from space. You can see the garbage dump, the pyramids, the Great Wall of China. So that's pretty ridiculous.
Still smells like shit though. Whenever you drive by, do you guys smell it? Did you guys smell it when you came here? Every once in a while, just a wave of it, just oof.
Well, it's closed. It doesn't mean the smell is closed.
The biggest thing is, wow, doesn't it smell there? Doesn't it smell there? What's that smell? What's that smell? I mean, I guess I've been here for a long time. I don't know. I don't smell anything anymore.
It's a beautiful place, and it's going to become more beautiful now that they're turning it into a park for children to play in.
We all idolize criminals, John Gotti, Scarface.
The definition of a hero shouldn't be a person that's in the media.
Big rap stars that got shot to death, Tupac, Notorious B.I.G., Big L, these guys that talk about degrading women, getting money, killing, stuff like that. People that have done it, and we think these are our heroes.
Because a lot of times they're totally different people than they portray themselves to be, because that's just the way the entertainment industry is. You want to entertain people, so you'll act a certain way.
Because we have to have this gangster or this macho look on things, because we have to try to be tough in front of people to make ourselves look better.
A hero for me would more be, just someone who's more of a role model to me. Like a father is a hero to a lot of kids. For someone of like me who's a Christian, a lot of times you would say that because Jesus is the hero or God is the hero.
You know Batman, you know the Joker. You could probably go to a third world country and say Superman, and they'll know who you're talking about. And I think they did a study like that, and the top three were like Jesus, Mickey Mouse, and Superman.
A hero is someone you want to be more like. So it really shouldn't be. It can be. I mean, because the comic book heroes always have the defining qualities that that are good. Like they want to do good, they want to help people. But that's something a person can't be. You can't become a superhero. You can't gain superpowers and start flying.
Do you remember the top three most recognizable characters?
Oh, yeah. In terms of what?
Like worldwide?
I mean, Batman, as far as like logos and stuff, especially Batman and Superman are the tops. I mean, it's no stretch that these figures like Superman and Batman, they become the legends. When people stop making up legends like, the man who beats the machine at the steam engine and whatever, and they stop making those, they get a little lazy, and then they have their legends made for them like Batman and Superman. And so it does sometimes permeate areas more often than religious heroes, or more often than because those do not have appeal across all generations. Everyone loves Superman because he always does the right thing, and he's also beyond human, even though he's really an alien. But people like Batman, beyond human. Some like you said, religious figures or cultural figures don't really permeate because but these guys are so beyond that.
They're the people who most of what you are comes from, because you're with them from the time you're born until basically the time you die. So especially in your younger ages, when you're picking up all your habits, everything, a lot of what you pick up is going to be from your parents. So your parents are a big shaper, and usually, especially when you're younger, your parents are your heroes.
nowadays tradition changes. Things that, like my parents, even though, like, let's say for religion on an example, they don't go to church, but they're very, like, they're religious people. Like, they have very strong belief in their faith, where I, on the other hand, don't believe in religion. I think that's just another way to keep control of you as a person, to, block off everything, that's actually in the world.
There's some tradition, Italian tradition, like just like every other, Italian, person, Yeah, family get-togethers, you kiss on the cheek, and every Sunday you have pasta, I don't know. But nothing, nothing that, is brought down from the ages.
Family, then kind of, you're there, like, no liquor, just wine is the drink of choice if you're going to have something with alcohol in it. That's my parents.
This generation, maybe it's branching off a little bit from that. Because I know personally, I'm not, well, I guess I kind of am in certain ways. You could be traditional in different ways. Some people want to wait till marriage before they perform coitus.
A long time ago, people were more religious. I think, I think people today are kind of a little more lax on religion, and that's a big tradition too, within the family.
I've always gone to a church basically since I was a little kid. I started off going to a Catholic church until I was about like 8 or 9. Then we came to this church, and I've been here since. But that's how I learned. Like, that's how I learned. Okay, it's not good to do this to a person. Like, you shouldn't treat a person wrong because they're different. You want to treat everyone the same. That's really, like I said, that's what shaped me, was what I learned throughout those years.
And that ignorance was more, it was more innocent, it was more children not understanding, right from wrong. Here, it's like, I don't know, some of the things that I've come across are just morally objectionable, which I think like anyone outside of Staten Island would find morally objectionable. Just, the way people raise their kids, or the way children treat each other,
Parents don't see that because they're very, old school, they're very traditional, but this is 2009, it's a lot of things are happening, a lot of people, people don't follow their traditions as much as they used to.
It's more of, for me, I want to know more about it. So I won't just do something because they're like, don't do this. I want to know, okay, I'm not doing this because blah, blah, blah. Or I'm doing this because, like, I will go and pick up the Bible and just find verses every once in a while and just read them, like, without a reasoning. Because I enjoy it. It's not like I'm doing it because I don't want to. I'm doing it because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy learning more about it because it's what I believe. If you believe something, you truly usually want to learn more about it, and you want to follow it as best you can. I'm no way close to perfect. Not even remotely close. No one is. But, I try to live my life in a way that the people around me can see a difference, hopefully.
The way I like it to an extent, but I can't take too much of it, but that's just me. Like, with my family, I can't be too much into the whole, all about the family. Because I grow up, I think, more my friends are my family, more so than my actual family, because everyone's a little nuts, but that's every family. But that's the thing. But I appreciate the ideals behind what my family has tried to do. Like, to try to be close and try to be a family as best possible, even though it doesn't work out. But that I appreciate, because that makes me appreciate other people better, because they showed me, it doesn't have to be that way, even though it might come to that, like, a certain thing, like a fight or whatever. But the whole ideal behind it, I do appreciate, like. But they also, my parents can be very narrow-minded on a lot of things too, about, diversity and stuff like that. Like, they think, you should, like, the American, Italian way, appreciate your heritage to the fullest. I do, but I don't think anyone should just be classified by their heritage. Like, it's not necessary. You are who you are. That's why you're your own person. That's why everyone ever says, be yourself and you'll be fine. It's true.
Traditional male role is basically you take care of your wife, you take care of your kids, you take care of your lawn, you go to work every day, and you come home and dinner's on the table for you, and you fix whatever needs to be fixed, and that's it.
You just gotta not give a shit about them, and they'll give a shit about you. That's how I have to be. No girl on this island is mature enough to have a mutual relationship with anybody.
They're not, like, it's ridiculous. Really, I can't even find the words to, like, really explain it. It's really ridiculous. Like, people I've met, like, girls I've met, like, in my past, like, just like your personality. I tell it, like, I say I try to be an advocate on that. Like, just be yourself.
Freshman year of high school, I got into a fight with someone because he just talked to my ex-girlfriend. And back then, you know, I was one of those stereotypical, critical, typical Staten Island kids. Didn't care about anything, and just did what I had to do, and I fought him after school. Now today he's a good friend of mine, and it was over complete bullshit. I mean, it took a while to realize that, but finally we just came to an agreement, and it was like, what are we fighting over? A stupid girl that doesn't even matter to me anymore.
Why do we have the need to go and start a fight? You know, you're going out to hang out. Why do we need to fight everyone? Because they tapped into me, because they looked at my girlfriend? Everyone's going to look at your girlfriend. Everyone's going to look at you, you know. They're going to look. Why get angry over it, you know? If your girlfriend's going to dress like a whore, someone's going to look at her.
Girls that I've been with that are great people. Great people. Great girls. Mature, know what they're doing. Most of these other girls spend 23 hours out of 24 in the tanning loft, and just, they like those Guidos with the long hair and the gel and the Ed Hardy everything and the Christian Audigier everything and the Affliction everything. Even though Affliction was started by Jonathan Davis from Korn, they don't even know who Jonathan Davis is. But that's what they like.
You fall in love, you get married, and then there's responsibility in that aspect. You buy a home, then there's even more responsibility. You have kids, it's even more responsibility. You kind of get thrown into that traditional role.
As everyone knows, the tradition is that the woman will clean the house, will cook the dinners, will basically say yes to everything that the man, the husband, the male would like done, and the men, they win the bread, you know. They spit the kids out like Pez, like pop them out like nothing. That's traditional, and that's with the women. With the men, it's going and winning the bread, you know, bringing it home. But like I said, I'm not too traditional, so I don't really make the bread, and my girl doesn't exactly cook and clean.
But society expects you to get married, have children, and buy a home and all that, you know, stuff. But I mean, that's bullshit. I mean, that's what society says. That's not what I want to do, or not. Well, I mean, that's what I'm doing, but that's, you know, that's not what, you know, say like Joe Schmo wants to do.
You know, I have my job. I come home. I do whatever. I pay the bills that I gotta pay, and that is what I'm supposed to do. So even just doing what you're supposed to do is But I don't know. I don't really think about it. Like, I don't really think to myself, am I being the best man that I can be?
Why do we have nipples?
My friend Mike, we were at a party at his house, and a conversation between, it was like half guys, half girls. And the conversation got brought up about, you know, the role of the man and the woman. And that whole point that I was saying before, like, you know, there are certain things that you should do, that a man is gonna do, and that a woman not actually shouldn't be doing. Granted, you want equal rights and you gotta be treated as an equal, so the job has to be there. Like, one of my friends is an EMT worker. His partner is a little woman who can barely lift, like, her pencil, let alone a body. So half the time, he has the blunt of the weight because she physically can't do it, and she'll tell him, I can't do it. And we made the point of saying, like, for example, that's a kind of a job, that even firemen, is a kind of a hard job for a woman to do.
Today, it's kind of, everyone's got to fend for themselves. Even if you're in a relationship, even if you're married, each person's got to pretty much cover themselves in a way, and it's a little different than it was, because like I said, it was expected the man was going to go out, make the money, the woman's going to stay home and do that. But that's changed a lot, and even 30 years it's changed. It hasn't been that way for a long time. 80%
are men at most of their jobs. Now we're not gonna be like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this and do that. Some of us are gonna have to look for something a little more low end, and for now, and work our way up, stuff like that. Nothing that we wanted, because we thought we were gonna be handed this, and we were gonna have this job, and this job is gonna take us this place. And it's not. It definitely ain't gonna be like that, and more of us have to realize it. Everybody's going to come to the point where they're going to have a choice to make. That's either going to make a man out of them, or is going to keep them where they are.
I would say it's more, a faith-based lifestyle. Yeah, that makes sense. I had to think about that for a sec. But yeah, I mean, my parents had always supported me. They didn't always understand. No, they understood it. They didn't always know if I was doing it because they're not around me when I'm being faced with the challenges. So a lot of times it was more they were just hoping praying that I was still living by it. When, and when I'm going through the things, a lot of times the people I more connected with were my other Christian friends, my other friends who I went to church with, and I would be able to talk to them about, hey, I'm going through this right now, and that always helped me as well, being able to have friends who I could just be like, hey, this is what's going on, can you help me, what have you, and especially if they went through something like that, they could help you. So it was always good to have some friends older than me, some younger than me, because, then I could help the ones who are younger than me if they ever need help with anything, and the ones older than me, I know I could ask them questions. I could be like, hey, I'm going through this right now, you have any ideas?
My parents, they'll give me some advice and, here and there, but not tell me what to do. Obviously parents will always tell you what to do. I'm going to do, what I want to do.
When I went to rehab, a lot of people my age wouldn't do that. I didn't have any cord over my head or anything like that. I I needed right then and there when they said I can go there, I'll have nowhere to live, you know, that am I going to keep doing what I was doing and just still be miserable and have nothing and never accept anything, or I'm going to take who I am and make myself better and realize it's time to put the big boy pants on.
A lot of what defines me as a person is what is my religion. I mean, another reason, like I said, the main thing that defines you and what shapes you is your parents and how you're raised. And a lot of what defines me is how I was raised in a church and the fact that I'm following in my Christian faith. I tend to do things because of that, meaning like when I'm making a decision about something, I'm not going to just think, okay, is this good for me in life? I'm going to think, does this keep true to my Christian testimony, to the way I want to live my life? So that defines, it helps me define right from wrong, good from bad, and I would say it's one of the main shapers, other than my parents, of the reason I am the way I am today.
A lot of people are into the painkillers now and everything like that, and it's eating a lot of families up, and I know a lot of people that have passed because of what they were doing, and I see a lot of people that are in a hole for what they were doing, and and it's not just like, that's not just a handful of kids, it's almost every kid, I see kids younger than me that are getting into it a lot faster than I ever did, and it's like, now that I'm on the other side of the spectrum looking at that, it's like they're done for. Like, we are done for. Like, we have all this, again, it goes back to the technology. We have all this technology working for us and everything like that. Everybody got a fucking BlackBerry, an iPhone, all these things that are telling you, they're making a car now that, tells you when you're falling asleep at the wheel. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. And when we get out there and mommy and daddy ain't there to back us up anymore, we're knee deep in financial aid that we got to pay back, and all the kinds of bills, and it's time for us to shit or get off the pot. A lot of us are just gonna still sit there and shit because we don't know. We destroyed ourselves in the sense that we only listen to ourselves, and it's only wrong what we're doing when something bad happens to us. And then we do the smallest amount to get out of that, and then try to do it again, and do it again a different way. And it never happens like that. Doing the same thing over and over again, that's the definition of it. And expecting different results is the definition of insanity. And we're all pretty much the same.
Well, a lot of these kids are hitting the gym and getting all nice and big, doing the creatines.
Every time especially when I'm on this side of the island, if I'm at a light and there's another teenager next to me, usually I can tell that they're trying to inch ahead in front of me, and I might possibly, very likely, usually try to stay ahead of them. Not that I'm trying to race, but it's the competitive side of me that says I don't want them to get in front of me.
The groups you hang out with, the groups that you hang out in, and when you go out, you're always in a certain group. Yeah, you know a lot of people, you meet a lot of people. Staten Island's kind of small. You know a lot of everybody.
Like my grandfather, my uncles and stuff from when they lived back, they saw the real mafia. Like they knew these people because they were from the neighborhood. Staten Island mafia is like they watch Goodfellas and they think that's, we gotta be like that. We gotta be like that. Start mob, start gang, blah, blah, blah. What do you, come on. No, this isn't the real mob. This is what you saw on television.
Someone I know that knows someone's cousin's brother's sister's uncle's dog was in the mob, so I have to be in the mob. I think I'm in the mob.
I don't think that's 100% true because that's definitely not all Staten Islanders. I mean, there are some that do, but that's definitely not all Staten Islanders.
I mean, that True Life Staten Island, the show, which I saw, and that's just sickening. And it's so true.
I'm there, and there was a circle going. I jumped in the circle and started dancing, and I guess I kind of made one of them, I disgraced one of them or whatever. Comes up to me and he's like, "Who the fuck you think you are?"
That's a Guido bar. Like, you walk in, and it's so crowded with the same people that you really think that you're gonna walk out with like a tan or a tape up or something.
I don't have a problem. You have a problem. I think you should get out of my face before I peel that fake tan off your body. So, his girlfriend started laughing. He said, "Oh, shut up. Shut up."
It's the four of us, and my friend and his girlfriend were in a different hotel, but we were in our hotel, and down the hall were a bunch of kids from Tottenville. A lot of steroid up, like testosterone-filled kids. They heard us down the hall, and they wanted to hang out and whatever, so they're like, "Oh, come by our room." Like, there was 2 or 3 of them that were cool.
The kids, they want to act tough. They want to see this so big, If I'm going to stand up to you and, say something and you're not going to, really be what you're trying to be, and don't even bother.
So one night we go down there, go to their room, and, knock on the door, and they open the door, and there's like 12, like just full-on Staten Island, South Shore Italian kids. Just, they had like 2 girls in the middle. And there's one who was like the ringleader. He was like just in the middle, like the epicenter of the group of kids. And they're like, "What do you want?" We're like, "Yo, you guys told us to come down here if you wanted to hang out or something and play like beer pong or whatever." And my friend was carrying a hacky sack, and he's just like throwing it up in the air. He's like, "What is that? What is that?" The kid in the middle. It's like, "It's a hacky sack." He goes, Let me see that. And he throws in the hacky sack, and he's just looking at it. He's like, "I'll mess everybody up in the hacky sack. You don't even know, bro. You don't even know. I'll mess you up. You don't even know who I am." And throws the hacky sack at the wall next to my friend's head, and we just looked at it.
At one point, I would go to barbershops, and then they would all try to give me the Caesar haircut. And this is about 10 years ago. And they're like, "You like the Caesar? You push it forward, and you push it up a little bit." I was like, "Oh, I kind of look not good like that." So then I would go to the Supercuts because they'd just give you the generic, "I'll just trim a little bit here," and they'll just do that. But yeah, they all wanted you to look the same. They pump them in. They come in and out of those places like clones, like a little factory of little Guido clones.
It's all the guys that I know. It's so egotistical. And
you see a lot of guys in the tanning salons now, which I don't know. I just don't. Let's see, back in like 8th grade or so, that's when the big Cavarici explosion occurred. Remember those things? And that was pretty bad. And since then, it's like, oh, that's what a Guido is?
The Guido effect.
Guy with the Beamer, the guy with the Mercedes. I mean, I have an '08 Accord, Honda, but it's no Mercedes.
Annandale's got the Guidos, and Princess Bay's got a lot of Guidos now.
You stop at a red light, and the car next to you, the guy wants to race.
It's just become part of New York City, kind of like to make fun of Staten Island as that other place with the Guidos and the IROCs and the tanning salons.
Yeah, of course, being Italian, that's the biggest thing. But not even Italian-American, just being Italian.
Anywhere you see a tanning salon, there are Guidos. So there are a lot of tanning salons on Staten Island, thus many Guidos.
Guidos in Staten Island, we like to call them the juice bags.
I was one. I did my fist pumping and my dancing. I mean, I still dance, don't get me wrong. I dance better than half of them.
And they got 2 Coronas in each hand. They're in a club.
They'll speak 3 words from Italian and say them completely wrong. But that's how, you were taught to say them when you were in Brooklyn. And, like, calamari is really calamari, but they don't know that.
It's like, I don't want to be labeled like that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people label Staten Island is like that.
You gotta be tan. You gotta have some kind of muscle. You gotta have something flashy on you at all times. And you gotta be an asshole.
Who's got more money? Who's got the nicer watch or the chain or whatever?
If Italians came here and saw these kids like that with an Italian flag on their hoodie, walking around with their spiky heads, they'd probably laugh at them.
I'm like a small. All right, so I go to the mall. I buy a shirt that's a small. They're all taken by like a guy who's got muscles ripping, like they want to look like the Hulk.
Also called a wife beater, or I mean, it's the white sleeveless T-shirts basically that you see people walking around in a lot of times.
Yeah, here they are. They're still here, still around. But in the summertime, there's not as many of them. They all go down to Jersey.
Usually they'll walk around in that. They'll have the pants pulled down. You see the boxers coming out of their pants. That's the standard look. Why am I talking about this?
Biggest gap between me and my family, especially, is just not being open to new things. Not I'll give everything a shot once, but they won't. They'll automatically. My dad is one of those people who will say, "We'll watch a movie, or not even watch a movie," and just because he doesn't like the people in it or whatever, it sucks.
And just as far as technology advancing from their time to our time, it's a different time. So everyone is growing up now in this different time with computers, with constant, instant gratification. I want to talk to this person right now. I got to text this person. Whereas in my parents' day, if you weren't around a phone, you were pretty screwed. So just even that technology aspect of it is a big difference in the generations. You can see the generation gap just from that.
Back, in the day, I guess I could say, and people were so much more productive, and people, had so much more pride in what they do and stuff like that. People didn't mind going to work and getting their hands dirty, and it's not like that no more. Everybody needs a desk job. Everybody needs a secretary. Everybody needs, everything handed to them on a silver platter.
My father, didn't grow up the richest man ever. My father didn't grow up with a lot of money. So it was a lot harder back then. In the 50s or whatever, It's a lot easier now.
Middle school, I went to school with primarily upper class white Italian kids. Some of them were cool. We had good times, But outside of the empty fun that we had in school, we never really connected. I met a few people in Staten Island I've connected with who all share the same feeling that, you can have fun with whoever, but there's always going to be that distance because you'll never see eye to eye with anyone 100%.
And a lot of these kids, they associate themselves with people that are totally influenced by pop culture, and they don't even like the people they hang around with, but they spike up their hair, get the tan, just like them, look an exact clone, just to be in.
The kids that are white that want to be another ethnicity like black, not saying there's anything wrong with being black, just they want to think that they're tough, they think they're 50 Cent, they're going to get shot and they're going to become big rap stars. I know kids that rap, they do a lot of drugs, and they think they're just going to become the next big thing. And to be honest with you, to be a white kid in Staten Island that uses drugs and you can put a nursery rhyme together, it's not really going to work out that good.
People don't actually look to the heritage as something beautiful, whether it's something like art, form of painting or writing, because it's an Italian writer or Spanish writer or whatever. Everyone just assumes these are what the Italians do, these are what Chinese do, the Arabs do, the Spanish do. Not everyone is like that. You're supposed to appreciate your heritage and learn from it because that's where your background comes from, but doesn't mean you have to be that way. That's a problem when people start thinking that way.
I don't think that's in every Italian American type of thing. That's just the with any stereotype. There are the people who fit that stereotype who keep it going basically, but then the majority of the people they get more acclimate. No, I don't know if acclimate is the right word, but they get more mixed with the culture of America, which is inherently what especially New York. In New York alone, we have so many different cultures that you mix it together, and even someone who's fully Italian doesn't necessarily do the fully Italian things. Yes, I may do some of the fully Italian things, have the big family get-togethers for, like, every birthday, every holiday, you know, like, every time we go out, it's like table for 22.
I don't like Staten Island. I don't like the people.
I mean, I wish I could say something good about Staten Island sometimes. I mean, but we can't.
Growing up, it's, you know, go outside, the world's your oyster.
Yeah.
You know, go ride your bike, go play football, baseball, hacky sack, anything, you know, just something. Now it's, no one wants to do it because everyone's so into this little world of theirs.
I would raise my kids here because I wouldn't, you know, Saturdays and Sundays, I wouldn't wake up and sit in my house while my kids played on the block. I would take my kids places. I would show them other things. And if they were content here, who am I to judge?
I think that it'll stay what it is, which is basically that place close to the city that you can still go to the park and have a backyard. So I think that maybe people will stay here. It's still a great place, and I think it's still very unique.
People aren't bad people because they grew up on Staten Island, you know? It's parenting, it's how you're raised.
Nice to see that people are trying to put some culture on the island and give people a reason to stay on Staten Island.
You come from Staten Island? Like, yeah, it's not that bad. I mean, I get on the bus, it's right down the block, and, you know, it drops me right in front of my building. You know, people think I'm like, you know, I have dogs and I'm on a sled, you know? It's not like that.
I don't have any reason to leave Staten Island. Meaning, it's not like I'm holding any grudges. Like, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave, but it's not that I have a big reason to stay either. So it's not I want to leave, I want to stay. It's we'll see what happens.
Me personally, as much bad things I have to say about Staten Island is I did have a good time growing up, but do I see myself staying in Staten Island? Not really.
Yeah, I see a future for myself here. Then again, you know, it's all, you know, also goes to show how, you know, the housing market is, how, you know, I would like to live in a nice house.
We're looking for a house now. So we're looking on the island, we're looking off the island. We're looking pretty much here in Jersey, but we don't know if we're too serious about Jersey.
Staten Island's really nice. Awesome pizza.
This is all I know, kind of. So I don't know how it would go, but I'm open for anything. I mean, I would move to London tomorrow if I could. You know, I know it's a big change from here, but I like other places too.
Why am I talking about this?
You know, because I know that if I ever get bored of it, I can leave. You know, I know that there's life outside of this. But I love Staten Island.
Peace and love. This is gonna keep everybody together.
It's nice to know that if I want to go see an IMAX film, I can just get on the ferry and go see Batman in IMAX. These things I'm spoiled. It's nice to know that at 1 a.m. I can go get a bagel.
Growing up, it's, you know, go outside, the world's your oyster.
Well, I used to have big hair myself. All over the place. No,
I'm sorry, who
The mayor of Belmar Beach, New Jersey?
the hell is this guy?